Welcome to Humanity Unboxed. Good morning, Michael.
Good
I'm
morning.
so glad to
Good
see
evening.
you. Good evening, almost. It's very good to see you. How are you? How are
My
you?
heart is open. My heart is open as soon as I see you. One of the few humans that actually I have a connection, a human connection with. And we talk
Yeah,
about this today. When the value is gone, when
yeah,
system value counts. So when you are a superstar, a super talent that is accepted by society, and when you don't need it, you drop. Who needs you?
yeah,
And we
yeah,
get the next one. So you can be the most perfect person, human, and have no value. And we referred to Stephen Hawking before. If he wasn't systemically seen, he would have not lived out his life
mm,
because he was sound system. The system did everything to support him,
yeah.
and
And therefore he
he
was seen.
wouldn't. Yeah,
Yeah.
and they
But
made
so,
him a value. He had a
yeah,
value, equal value. Do you think he's the only person that has this disability? No. There's
no.
so many more and nobody cares. But because the difference between them not having, them actually being bad for the system, a burden, disabled
Mm,
people, a burden, neurodiverse, burden.
mm,
But he was discovered systemically to have system value. And the system value allowed him to live out his life, and be a
yeah,
superstar, quote unquote, superstar.
yeah. And that's interesting aspect. I've told you before I'm following this guy called, I think he's called Oliver. He
Yeah, with the
is
boat,
with the boat, yes. He's
the boat and the
sailing,
kitty.
yes. Who's also called Phoenix. So his channel, his boat's called Phoenix, and it's named after his cat called Phoenix, who he found in a dumpster. He worked in a kind of corporate job, I think car parts or tools or something like that, and hated his life. And he got this diagnosis of, I'm just trying to check what it's called. It's something with a spine that is,
Yeah,
I will find the
screwed
name
up
in a
somehow.
minute.
It doesn't really matter because humans understand the spine was screwed up. Something in his back
Yeah,
was screwed up.
exactly. So it's a degenerative disease. He can be paralyzed at any moment, kind of, or not at any moment. Yeah, he could
Yeah,
become paralyzed
he
at
had
some.
a problem with his spine. Period. That's it.
That's
We
it.
don't need. Yeah,
And
not labeling it.
no, no,
Oh, I
not
know people with dyslexia that this way. Oh, I know this. No human is the same.
yeah, yeah. Um, so, but he then decided, he but didn't have money saved up. It's called a Klippel fail syndrome. It's a rare spinal condition that can cause paralysis. So
Okay, now it has a name.
there's the
Okay.
system. There's the label. Um, and he quit his job, cashed in his 401k, whatever that means. It's a
Yeah,
US, which we don't really know
retirement
much
stuff.
about. Yeah,
Retirement money.
and he bought a sailboat. He hadn't sailed out of a river or an inland kind of space
Mhm.
before. Taught himself how to sail and sailed from Oregon to Hawaii. And I mean, that's the Pacific Ocean. That's intense, I reckon.
Yeah.
But then he decided, and he's quite an awkward is a weird word to say, but he is very much a one of one
Yeah.
Oliver, um,
Obviously.
eccentric. He's real. There's no, you can see like he started filming himself now in public, so he is uncomfortable. He's awkward. He's just so real, and he's decided to just live out the stream through. Obviously, he's creating a lot of social media content, which I think he's got almost 2 million followers on
Yeah.
wherever, Instagram. He's doing YouTube, and this is
Yeah.
obviously supporting now this dream of his, right? So
Yeah.
I'm trying to bring this back to the value
He
outside of
had
the
to
system.
create
So the
value
system,
that systemically is
but he had
accepted.
to become uncomfortable. He had to do the scary bit, and I mean, he literally, physically did the scary bit of sailing across the Pacific Ocean, which isn't something that, you can die. I mean, I would probably not make it if I had to try, because I know nothing of sailing. But now he had the same value before he left Oregon, right? Than he has now that he's in Hawaii. But he can communicate his free spirit. I don't know how to put words to kind of what attracts me to this story so much,
I
as
know,
to,
I know, I know.
it's
If you don't
just
know,
so human.
I
You
just,
know?
it comes to me. I
Yeah,
think because he did the real work, his human challenge
yeah,
with going over the ocean, and that was his talent or ability. Because not you and I couldn't do that, or even if we tried, it would be dangerous. But he had so much passion to do that, and now he has to do the systemically hard work that is totally not him,
yeah.
and has to make system value. He has to create system value that he can be himself, and this is why I had a talk with a couple of people last week, and I and this woman explained something with her family, and I was like, whoa. And then I realized, and I said, see, in this group, every single person, it's not like, oh, Michaell has the greatest life. See, we always think everybody has the great life, but then really every person goes through their challenge. I would say, oh, I can handle Michelle's work, but I couldn't. But you couldn't, you understand? So
Yeah,
every person has a challenge. When you hear it, you say, oh my God, this is crazy. And this is actually where we should actually align, and not aligning with, oh, she's good. She's good. She has never any problems. Well, Michaell has never any problem. Look at Michaell. Michaell has never any problem. And then people know then I tell about my problems. They say, oh my God, how you survived that? I survived it, but others might not. And that's just the stuff. So we gave us our own challenges, whatever. That's, kids, marriage, money, position, fight, whatever. And we couldn't do this. And they did it because their passion said, I need to learn about this,
yeah.
And
But
we
also,
always, go
they
ahead.
allowed themselves to do the scary thing, because it is a scary thing, whatever
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's their challenge. And, life challenges, when you go through the crisis, you gain more than you lose. You feel much better. We go to, every human goes through crisis. And every time the crisis it's a resetting, and you're much better after that. I mean, I've learned so much in this last year, and have written about it. I've talked about it, but other people, I say I could never do this. I said, yeah, but I could. So I could, and it wasn't easy. It's still scary,
Yeah, yeah. And yet the value isn't necessarily seen in the system,
No,
but the
no
value is seen in the humanness, in the human
challenge. Yeah,
centricity, because systems don't care about challenge or difficulty, because everything is boxed, everything is according to the plan. It's
what you can
doing
give,
the
what
right
you can,
thing.
what you system care, what system value you can contribute. So if I am a perfect accountant, and there was no AI, for example, I could be the perfect accountant. I made heat accounting, and my real problem is with my wife, to handle that. But it's the focus is all on the system value versus, and that's why system value is always more important, and that's why money is always more important.
Well, in the system, it's not
Yeah,
more important. It's only
but
more
it's
important
seen
in the
by human. That's where we come to wars, because it's seen. This current time is, I think, so anti-human. I think, because how can any human even think that it is good to kill 100,000 people? We are all made to be all here, not that because we have to do more. The more people they kill, the more the leftover people have to do. It's always the same.
But this
I
is
can
yeah.
go ahead.
This is kind of what we touched on earlier, around people distancing themselves from the connection we have to each other. You know, whether it is using labels in neurodiversity or using labels in race or culture or whatever it is that makes
Position.
the us and them. Position.
If I come to, if a person comes and is really nasty person, if I want or not, she's in my boat or he's in my boat. You and I can talk every day and say whatever, but we can never say we are not connected. We are always connected. And when I call you, we are always connected. And we just, because we know these things and we be conscious about it and aware about it, we can live it out and experience that interconnection between you and me, for example.
But that's not easy. You know, it's easier to be disconnected because in our connection, we also feel helpless when the other feels helpless, or we feel pain or sadness or all those things. And that's difficult.
Which is the natural empathy. That's not the systemic empathy. What you have to do, sending an AI form of references. The AI help is, and the empathy is, you never say no to a friend. You just give him references.
Because it's all you know. Because it's too difficult to.
Is this too loud?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
No. Because that's the only thing they know. You know, it's if you get involved in actually contacting those places and seeing that it is just dead ends, then you're going to feel the helplessness. But if I give you the paper with the list of things that you could do, then I'm now
you're gone. You can unhook. You can unhook and then don't take the burden, which is not a burden. If I care for you, it's a pleasure to care for you. If I feel for you, I feel for your kids, for example, right?
Yeah.
When I feel, it's a pleasure. I'm not saying, oh my God, now I have to tell Michaell what I think about her kids. No, it's not. No, it's a pleasure. It's joy. It's joy to think about Claire or Josh.
Yeah. Because there's a connection.
Or
because
Scooter.
You're interested.
Or Scooter.
Scooter.
We don't want to miss out Scooter.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, is it really value if it's only system relevant though? Like I've been working with AI, I'm creating something, and I've just realized how much more work I'm doing because I actually want to make sure that it's right. That it has value.
Use it as a tool, like a paintbrush. You want to use.
Yeah, because it still has to have the value. But if I just used whatever it gave me as such, it would be much quicker, but there would not be any value or anything in it. Yeah.
It wouldn't be you.
No.
Yeah. And that's what we already see in AI. We see it is it could be a tool, but it's nothing. It's not much more than a paintbrush, because a paintbrush, you haptically have that in your hand, and you can feel the paint on the special paper moving, whatever, and you have control and control about it more.
Yeah, but you also know the limitations of the different kinds of paintbrushes, so that you can adjust your stroke. Or I've been working with oil pastels now, so I don't have a fine enough thing to rub it in, so I have to use a charcoal pencil with some paper towel around it to really move, work it in. And there's probably a brush for it, but this is what I have, so I think that's also a lot what we do in human centricity, where we can adapt ourselves or adapt what we have for ourselves instead of just using the out the box. Here we go.
There's a brush,
We
take it
have this,
and use it.
yeah, Or I don't have
a
that thing.
teacher tells you, an art teacher tells you, that's a number 2 pencil, that's a number 5, filbert, a brush, and
and there's no other way about it. Or graded on your art, and apparently a 12-year-old can be, a creative 12-year-old cannot be good enough to get a good mark in art, which blows my mind.
And I, for example, am insisting on really minimal stuff. For example, I wouldn't buy, so I did a lot of photography. I bought the cheapest camera, and I said, it doesn't matter how sharp it is about my voice. And that's important. I don't need the sharpest and highest resolution. I need something that I can, play with. And
because of your voice, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the value.
And I did, for example, 2 years ago, a party, a James Bond party, and everybody was dressed up as James Bond something, and I thought it was awesome. And the guy said, "No, take my Nikon, take my Nikon." I did it with the iPhone, and I couldn't know the difference from the two. I used the iPhone and his camera too, and couldn't do the difference.
Yeah, but yet, I mean, we had an experience with that when I was visiting home in South Africa. We walked into a shop, and there was a shop assistant, and she was so excited to see my mom's iPhone that she asked if we could take a photo of her. So we both posed with this woman we didn't know, just so that she could experience having her photo taken with an iPhone. Which is, as you say, she's still the same. She still looks the same, even maybe on the photo. But suddenly there's more value attached to that version of her.
And also it's the version, exactly, it's the version. Because even if you look at the picture and it's super perfect systemically, it's not as good if it's not perfect. It has more humanity in it,
Yeah. Because it's real. It's like the Oliver, what's it called, Sailing with Phoenix. It's real. It's a mess, or he has to shower outside because he can't shower in the boat because there's more, whatever it is. But or the ropes aren't the right colors, or he's awkward and uncomfortable.
Drop of water on the camera. Who cares?
No.
That's the beautiful thing.
Yeah, which makes it real. Yeah. So value never changes. It's just how we perceive it. And obviously coming back to awareness, if we're aware that system controls our perception of value, then it no longer controls it.
All the AI say, oh, you have this person, you can get rid of that person. You can get rid of that. Oh, you have an umbrella in it, you can get rid of it. It's always systemizing our perception. So then we just look at the thing and say, oh my God. Yeah. I mean, I could never, I know these people, especially in the old days, where really said, oh, why do you have a hair on this picture? Because there was a hair, on this picture. But the picture wouldn't be anything worse if I didn't have the hair and waited for the hair to go, or whatever, or something. It wouldn't be the same picture.
No. Yeah. And there's a lot lost in that self-consciousness of I need to be the right version of me before I can do it, instead of I need to do it. And that's how I become,
because
whatever
that moment, right? Being in the moment, you're in the moment. It's your life that is in the moment. You create it moment by moment by moment. And if you feel the pleasure to click, this is the perfect picture,
Yeah. Exactly. And also then what is it for? Like, what do I measure it against? And if I don't measure it against anything, then it's always the right picture or the
It's
best
the
picture
perfect
or the,
moment for you.
yeah,
Yeah. And see,
which every
that's the
moment is.
value. That's the value. And so, for example, when you do wedding pictures,
Mm.
I did a couple of weddings, 3 or so, or 4, and my friend had a professional videographer.
Yeah.
And for thing, I had a video camera. I turned it around. I did all this stuff, and he only watches my video. He doesn't watch the perfect video for the. I mean, he has it,
Oh,
but if he wants to think, but I did it like
yeah.
this, and then and like I am the camera, so
Yeah.
I'm harder, and he loves that. And this 20 years ago, and then I did
Yeah.
other two, and it just oh, and music, right? I was DJing a birthday party, and I did. And all the people, because I'm older, they say, "Can you play this?" And they just gave me the iPhone, and we put it on, and
Yeah.
it was the perfect transition, or whatever. But
Yeah.
they were happy because we in in this moment we created music. We created the right music. I didn't have all the songs. I
Mm.
had other songs. I started the whole thing, and then I had 8 iPhones laying next to me, and I just played them. You know, I didn't
Yeah.
play a record. I
Yeah.
started with record in the old days, yeah. But
Yeah.
now, recently, like 4 years ago, I just took 8 iPhones and played to get the second song. So get it ready, and we just played.
Yeah. So it's letting go of the control, though, isn't it? And
Totally.
that's how the value can can express itself.
I wish I had so little control in life, because in life I want to be,
Yeah.
because I want to be perfect. I want to do this stuff, but I know that's not my life. The life
Yeah.
is the inspiration. Inspiration that comes, and you say whatever it is. People like
Yeah.
it or not, they don't. You know.
Yeah. And that's difficult because we also measure our value on the feedback or the validation or the
Yeah.
response. Yeah, that we get
I, th-
from
I
that
think,
audience
but
aspect.
it's only human, because as you saw my answers on AI,
Mm.
I say AI can help us in everything as a tool, like a knife.
Mm.
But basically, it can never go into the interaction between you and me, what we should cut. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Because
Mm.
you and I decide what we should cut, or what we
Yeah.
use AI for, not AI decide. I
Yeah.
don't want to give my decision up to a tool, instead of talking to you and say, hey, what would be the funniest? I think yellow would be funniest, and you say no, orange. I said, let's do an orange yellow, or
Yeah.
do a red, instead.
Yeah.
I cannot make my decision creative, because creativity is number one uh, superpower, and, and
Yeah.
and you cannot
But
give that up.
don't you think that society, which for me equates to system, really,
Yeah,
um, has been slowly but surely teaching us to give up our
yeah,
accountability?
individuality, and then the accountability for self,
Yeah.
with capital S,
Yeah. Yeah.
not it's like adapt the
Yeah.
third superpower, adapt.
Yeah.
People have no energy to adapt anymore. You have no
No,
energy.
but yeah, because I mean, I live in one of probably the most controlled. I don't know this England is very controlled as to
Yeah.
what is supposed to be happening. Um, like the people, we had this
Only
conversation.
you, not the top. The leaders do whatever they want to do.
Oh
The
yeah,
leaders always do whatever they want to do. It's
yeah,
always the people. See, that's the where we took what we talked about last time, where we say, why do humans always want other humans to do their work, their dirty work?
mm,
And that's not what it is, because your dirty work is not mine. I might be a janitor and love to be a janitor. I,
yeah,
you know, I'm
yeah,
not have to be the best janitor in the world. I have to be the best janitor I can be, because I really love to be a janitor. And
mm,
that's see the judgment of janitor is a shit work. Uh, Street cleaner is a shitty work. No, everything is right for the person. we are so perfectly separated to do all the right thing. Somebody doesn't like to cook. There's people that love cooking, and they love cooking, and they love taking care of kids, and they love taking care of horses, and they love taking care of street sweeping.
Yeah.
You just have to find what the passion is, and AI could really help us in that. But we have to make the jobs the same money. We cannot say, oh, the janitor should get £2, an hour, and somebody that is a dweeb, a techno dweeb, gets $100 an hour. I think that's crazy. We need to accept that we all contribute to this human-centric, to human potential. That would be the right value. That would be the right system. But we want to change it because we always, say issues and then we say solutions. The solution is, value the person that she is in life.
But we can only do that when we allow our own expression, individual. If I allow, if we can be us, not if we pushed into the box of, okay, you finish school, you go to university, and then you have to learn how to do the job, and then you become the job, because that's not your potential.
Not becoming you become the job.
Yeah.
You turn into job. So basically, that's also an issue why humans don't care about each other, because you become the job. You're not the human that you are.
Yeah.
So you don't have to say certain words. You don't have to do certain things. You don't have to this. It's all control. And perhaps that's what we have to. That's what humanity has to learn: to give up control, because the opposite of control is love. Control is the fear of love. And when you don't trust love, you control. So if I cannot trust that you would think about me or that you love me, I need to do all kinds of stuff to control that. Or say, hey, but you have to call me every day, and you have to do this.
Yeah.
And that's what I learned in our relationship, that we trust our beings. We don't have to do certain things. And I have other friends too that they say, like my friend has cancer right now. We don't know. He still hasn't heard from me, but he says, "Can I talk to you?" He said, "Absolutely."
Yeah.
And I don't say I have a healing. I say you need to decide to be healed. Whatever you believe, you need to be healed, because you can get a chemo and sting and be healed, but you can also die, and you can get herbs and whatever, or you can get a blessing and be healed. Whatever you resonate with. You are one of 8 billion. I cannot say. I can give you suggestion, but what is healing? It's not you taking this pill and be happy. No, doesn't work.
But it's also not necessarily living. It is realizing that your value isn't connected maybe to this physical expression always. Yeah.
And your body is one of 8 billion, and it needs its healing, whatever that healing is, just to bring you back in balance, because that's basically what it is. You're out of balance. You need to get in the balance of the self with a capital S. You need to get back into the self, and that's why I'm not for condemning chemotherapy. There might be an antibiotic that is perfect for you at the moment. For other people, for me, it didn't work. They gave me 6 antibiotics, different antibiotics, when I had that in my leg.
Yeah.
And they did 40 visits to the doctor, and they didn't know. And then the other doctor came and said, "Why don't you put a honey on it?" And I put a honey on it, and it was good. I mean, the other doctor said I wasn't going outside and said, "I hate medical thing." No, I tried this thing, but obviously subconsciously I didn't believe in it, because and I didn't believe in the honey either, because we tried 40 times and this is very interesting, right? 40 times to the medical clinic, and nothing happens, and then another human just put some honey on it, and I said, "What should honey do? We tried 6 antibiotics, whatever." I wasn't believing this, and you know, I'm natural, you know, but I
Yeah.
wasn't going for honey, and I put it on, and it went away, and we
Yeah.
couldn't believe it. Both my GP couldn't believe it, and I.
Yeah.
And
But that's outside of the system, you know. That was unboxing the
unboxing,
human. Yeah.
I was unboxed. I was in the box,
Yeah.
and I unboxed myself.
Yeah.
And this is
With the guidance of this person that suggested it.
Yeah, another doctor. They just he said, hey, and he's retired, and they said, hey, what was that? He said, just put the. He looked at it and says, oh, just put some honey. Don't get a chemical honey. Just get a real honey. You don't have to be organic, but just.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just that is life. That's living. When you experience that, you really. I convinced myself not that it's not like either or. I'm not all natural, you know.
No.
But that is where you experience that nature has everything, and you're part of nature, and nature has everything for you.
Yeah.
And it's not monopolized by companies and systems. That
No.
they have the right for water, they have the right for housing, they have the right for whatever, you know.
Medicine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because medicine or housing or whatever that is yours already.
It's because you're part of it. You're part of Earth. So water is a part of you. Oil is a part of you. It's not supposed to be. Some people have water, oil, and you don't, and you have to pay for it. You know, some people, can live their lives, and that's the top people always live their lives. They live whatever they want to do. They have enough money and power to live their life. That's okay that they live their life, but don't leave mine alone. Let me live my life. If you want to live your life on top, then let me live my life on the bottom.
Yeah, exactly. Without controlling it.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Perfect.
Again, perfect. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for your value. And we went prepared and said, oh, we're gonna prove that their value and their worth. And we didn't do this. Yeah.
No.
It's really helpful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
I think we will be back on Monday.
Okay.